Hey guys, Kev here, and I have 6 knives to do rapid reviews on. You've seen all these in videos in the recent past, and I just kind of want to hit on all of them again before I get them into the pass around group. So I'm going to start off with a very cool one. This is from Ketuo Knives. This here is the Triad, and absolutely fantastic knife. This is actually the V2, sorry, and it has the upgraded button actuated liner lock, which makes an absolutely huge difference in this knife. Gotta give Ketuo major props for that, because I really did like this knife originally. If you watch my video, if you watch my videos on the V1, which looks identical, by the way, just happens to have that liner in there instead of a plunge. And I liked it a lot, but, you know, it had the button lock, and those just rarely have a perfect detent for, you know, multiple deployments or, you know, whatever the knife is, really. Just not a fan of spring locks, but they've updated it with the lock that they originally put on the Ventnor, which was very popular for having that lock. And I think they were very smart to do this. And we're starting to see this more and more with companies doing button actuated liner locks or compression locks or whatever. Even frame locks. So it's really cool to see. But this one has this shred carbon fiber. It does have a reversible titanium pocket clip. I really appreciate Ketuo for doing that. It is really comfortable in the hand, a little bit on the thicker side, but you get that comfort with it, so I think it's worth it. And then you have a finger choil. You just have to be a little bit careful because you do have a sharp point here, so just try to pull back on it when you do that. Really thin blade grind. I'm not sure if it's hollow ground, but it definitely feels like it. And then it gets flat up here, so I'm pretty sure it is a hollow there, maybe just a shallow one, because it's already pretty thin stock. So definitely going to be an excellent cutter. I didn't do any cutting with this, if I'm being honest. A lot of these I try to just, I'm going to be passing them around. I've had experience with the knife already. You know, if you want opinions on exactly how it cuts and performs and the heat treat and stuff, you're going to want to check out other channels like Stasa23 to get that information. But this is in M390, and again, shred carbon fiber titanium liners. Very cool. It has a titanium liner for the lock with a steel insert. I mean, just really high quality stuff from Ketuo. And the detent on this is stout. I don't want to say it's too strong, but it's almost too strong for this front flipper. I can get it, but it definitely takes some oomph to get that front flipper. Does that bother me? No, because this reverse flick is ridiculously good. I don't even need the front flipper. I do wish, that's one of the gripes I've had with this knife from the get-go, is I just wish the jimping was a little more aggressive. It's really the only thing that would make this better, I think. And that would help you deploy it even with this detent. But, I mean, the action's good on it. You can front flip it right-handed, left-handed. The studs are, oh my God, they just rock it out of there. And then, of course, you have that slot or hole as well to deploy it with, which is very cool. I think these are on sale right now. I'll put a link to their website. I should have an affiliate link. They've been trying to set it up for a while, so whether I have it or not doesn't matter. I will link it for you. But I believe these were on sale for like $205 or something, which I think is a really good price for this knife right here. So really good design and execution from Ketuo. The next one is going to be the Real Steel Real Barlow, and you'll see here I actually have 2 different colored scales on it, and that's because this knife has a really cool feature where you can swap scales. So you can purchase scales on their website. They're like, I think they're less than $20. They were like 16 bucks or something like that, 10 bucks for scales. And you can easily swap them. You literally just remove this screw And then there's a little notch system around the pivot that this can slide onto, so they don't have a bunch of screws. Just that one screw at the bottom holds it in on each side. And you do have a wire clip that comes with the knife. I took it off. It's in the box. Because it's a slip joint, I just prefer no clip. But for those of you who do like a clip, you do get a wire clip in the box, and it is reversible if that's important to you. You get that European style quarter stop, which is nice so you don't cut yourself if you accidentally break through the open engagement. Dead centered on here. I have coyote scale on this side and black on this side. I might as well show you since it's so easy to do. I'll go ahead and put one of the scales back on. I'll get it back to stock for the next guy because I'm going to pass these around. I always like to do that. I'll put a link to Real Steel's website for this knife and the scales. But that's it. You take that screw off and then this slides off. Pivot is adjusted here. And then what you want to do is take your scales, and you can buy them. Currently, I think they only have G10. They do mention they're going to have aluminum, titanium, and stuff like that, but I guess they're not available yet. You receive your 2 scales and a couple of the screws, which is cool because you really only need 2 screws for the knife, and they give you extras. So you just slide this down, and it has this sort of notching system around the pivot. So you just slide this down, it locks in there, and then you take your screw and put that in the same location, and all of a sudden you have new scales, and it's that simple. Now the I'll put this away. The clip, where are you? Here you are. Oh, there it is. The clip is just as simple, in my opinion. I want to make sure I put it on. It would be the lock side would be this side. Yeah. So I could have left that off. I thought I had it on the wrong side there. So you just want to take this off. I find it's easier to just take it off. And then this goes, if you see the notches, they're actually on the scale. That's right. So you want to put it onto the scale. See if I can show you. It's a little bit tricky to do on camera, but you just got to get these. You can see the notches there. For a second, I thought it was on the steel liner, but there it goes. So it just pops in like that, and then you do the same thing as before. Slide it down. Might be a little bit harder because the clip is in there, but everything stays in that position, and then that screw is going to tighten everything down. You just got to push it a little bit, and there you go. So now we have a wire clip on our Real Steel Real Barlow. So I think that's pretty cool. It's a nice little slip joint. It's very affordable. You can use my code LeftyEDCLUX. I'll put it in the description. LEFTYEDCLUX will take $10 off of this, I believe. So you can go over to their website, put that in, and this thing, I believe, is like $50 tops with the code. And it's in N690, which I have not tested, Real Steel's N690, but it does seem to be a lot better than Italian N690. So I think all my hate on N690 was really directed at shitty heat treats by Italian companies, which we've known about for years, so it does make sense. Like, I don't hate MagnaCut, I hate Italian MagnaCut. You know what I mean? So I just kind of lumped N690 in with that, but it should have just been Italian N690 because I used a few of their knives now in N690, I believe. The Sylph, and there was some other slip joints that I had in from them, and they all felt great. I used them a lot, actually, to cut cardboard and stuff like that. Not enough to get a great edge retention test or anything, but enough to know it didn't feel like really soft, like you can tell sometimes on those Italian knives, which is a bad indicator, right? Because you can tell with minimal use on those knives, which just screams shitty heat treat. if I can tell, you know. So this is what it would look like stock. I think it's a good looking knife, good design. It's comfortable in hand, definitely more so without the clip, but it does work in hand with it. You got to be careful if you're putting your finger up here, but you can do it. And the walk and talk, pretty good. Definitely one of the better ones I've felt from Real Steel, and I've been pretty happy with their slip joint walk and talk for a more modern style slip joint. So that's the Barlow, or Real Barlow, I should say. Very cool knife. I'm actually gonna go grab another one here that I didn't think about that I should throw in. So there's actually, I guess, 7 knives. This is the Giant Mouse Ace Nazca in a weave carbon fiber, and it's got a brass backspacer. OEM by Bestech. We have Magna Cut steel. They're listing it at 62. It feels better than that to me. Again, I'm not an expert, but I cut a bunch of cardboard with it, and it just was a laser beam. It felt really good. Where usually the Italian heat-treated Magna Cut at 62, at least that's what they're saying, from Giant Mouse, I can tell it doesn't feel as sharp. Doesn't bite as well, I feel like, as this did. So maybe the Italian 62 is really like 60, 61, and this is an actual 62. But I've heard Bestech's Magna Cut is 62.5 to 63.5. Which would add up to how this feels, but I don't know. Again, not an expert, but as you can tell, I definitely utilized this blade quite a bit. Really enjoy this knife. I think the Ace Nazca is one of the best Giant Mouse knives. Now, it's kind of funny because, honestly, when I look at it, it doesn't aesthetically really give me much of a Giant Mouse vibe. And ergonomically, it's really a bit different than a lot of stuff I've seen from Giant Mouse, especially stuff from Vox. But that's why you have the collaboration between Vox and Anso. And that's why a lot of people, I think, love Giant Mouse, because you get to see both of those brains combine, right? To come up with some really unique designs that aren't just like, oh, that's a box, or oh, that's an Anso. No. They put their brains together on this one, I think, and it worked out really well. The only thing I don't love about it is a little bit on the thicker side, and it's a little bit heavy. I wish this backspacer was actually titanium, and I wish these liners were nested. So I think there's an opportunity here for a Nazca V2 to really kick some ass if they get rid of these liners, do some just short liners just for the crossbar lock, or maybe even switch the lock up to, maybe like a button actuated compression lock or something wild. That would be cool. Even just a, liner lock would be cool. Get rid of this and make it titanium so we can lose a little weight here. And I think this would be really sick on a V2, but as is, man, it is so good. I am not a fan of crossbar locks, but there are a couple lately that have been really good. The Vosteed Mini Psyop, excellent. Just a little small for my hand, so it tended to want to kind of nip me when I would close it. The Vosteed Mini Nightshade County Com edition is another one that's just excellent. You can see it's actually on the weakest setting, and it feels amazing as is. These are actually available now, so you can pick these up at CountyCom. Use the code LEFTY10. You'll get 10% off your order on that Vosteed collaboration. I think it comes with a flashlight too, which is pretty cool. So check that out. But I love this one, and it's a great crossbar lock. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of them, but there's just been a good run of them lately. And then, of course, the Pyrotech Kraken. This one has crystallized titanium scales, and this is a nice crossbar lock. Just, you feel that pop. Just feels good. excellent, really comfortable in the hand. But again, really good crossbar lock on that. And this is no exception. I gotta give them credit. They killed it on these thumb studs and the placement of them. Usually you're gonna see those studs sticking out the side on a crossbar lock knife. Like, it's gonna be hard to hide thumb studs on a knife like this, right? They're usually gonna come out past the scale. Not too much on this, but you can see them, right? Let's check out this Vosti. This might be another example of, nope, see, you can see those studs just kind of peeking around the side of the scale there. Not horrible on either of those. Some you see it and it's like brutal, right? The studs are like sticking way past. You look at this knife, you cannot see the studs. Yeah, I gotta angle it pretty far for you to see it. And then they have this little cutout for the stud and a little milling pocket or chamfer here to guide you to it. And my initial thought when I got it was, man, those are gonna be hard to flick. Like, I'm not gonna be able to reverse flick this. Thumb flick's gonna be difficult because you can't get to the studs. I gotta tell you, man, it's one of the best thumb flicks I've ever felt on a knife. And that's including things that are not crossbar locks. It's just that good. And I think it's because they give you that cutout, and because they cut into the scale to put the studs down, it gives you that extra leverage where you don't need a super strong spring in here, but it still feels like a stronger detent because you're tucking those studs in so far. So I said this in the unboxing, I think, but this knife, when you flick it, it doesn't feel like most crossbar locks where you're pretty much just putting your thumb there and you're pushing up, right? You're pushing up and you're flicking straight up to get the best leverage, right? That's pretty much standard practice for a crossbar lock knife. And then a reverse flick is tougher because you're kind of flicking out and less straight up, unless you kind of come up under it, right? Well, on this knife, it feels like I'm flicking in. Like, it just feels like when I'm done flicking, you can see my finger, it almost wants to go this way, not up, right? Like, that's up. I feel like I usually end up like this because I'm kind of flicking through it. It's almost like I have a follow through on my thumb flick. I can reverse flick it pretty easy. It's not like the greatest reverse flick ever, but I can do it. And again, it's not like a big struggle. I'm not sitting there failing it. Most crossbar locks, I suck at reverse flicking because, you know, you need to put so much power into it. But this just fires out, no problem at all. You can see the closing action. I mean, it's on bearings, loosey-goosey, but it feels very controlled, right? I could play with this thing all day. The studs are perfect. They get your finger a little bit rough, which is good. It means they're gripping. I don't like studs that are too smooth. Like, I don't love these. I actually like the ones they did on the original version better because these kind of are rounded, domed style, and I tend to want to slip off of them. I mean, obviously, I've learned to use them, but I do prefer the original ones they had on there before. These are just perfect. This knife is incredible, guys. The ergonomics in this grip are excellent. You can choke up, and it seems really awkward. And I guess it kind of is, but I'm able to choke up and do some tasks like that, no problem. Mostly I'm gripping like this. And then, of course, I have, you know, a pinch style grip, and I have this index finger. You have that jimping there, sort of box style. And this thing's just a home run. This is definitely one of my favorite giant mouse knives, if not my favorite. I'd love to see a V2 come out with nested liners, a little bit thinner and a little bit lighter, but, you know, it's fantastic. Dead nut centered. I definitely love it when Giant Mouse uses Bestech or Riot. I feel like you get much more consistent QC, and quality in general just feels good. Better heat treat, better, you know, grinds, better finishing. just really good all around. So the Ace Nazca is an absolute banger. I do have a link to Giant Mouse. I'll link it down below. You can use my code LeftyEDC, I believe. That'll get you $5 off if you want to pick one of these up. They are available in this carbon fiber configuration, and I can definitely recommend it. I'd love to try this in titanium because I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have liners, and that might be the ticket. So that would be worth checking out for sure. If I can find one, I'll look for it. I remember that was a very popular knife when this came out. So very, very cool knife. That is the Ace Nazca. All right, where was I? We've done those three. Let's quickly talk about this fixed blade. This is the Fortitude 2 from Oknife. And this is a Such 00 edition. One of the best YouTubers in the game. I kind of came up watching him. He got me somehow linked up to Nick Shabazz's videos, and that's how I went down the knife rabbit hole. So it's kind of his fault, to be honest, Such. Kind of his fault that I'm here now and you have to listen to me. So just saying. But excellent knife. I guess the micarta with the yellow G10 liners is the Such thing. And then maybe this sheath, because I don't remember this with the original one. This is the best fixed blade sheath I've tried in a long time. It's just looks sexy as hell. It feels amazing. It has both a vertical and horizontal belt carry style on it. Look how thick that is. It's just a really nice sheath in my opinion. And then it's just a really good knife as well. It's comfortable in the hand. You know, large enough to do most of your tasks, but not too large, you know what I mean? This is definitely one I would probably actually keep and put in my truck or something like that. Very cool. So that's the Fortitude 2 from Oknife. I'll put a link to that. Code is LeftyEDC, LeftyEDC for that as well. The next one is another Ketuo. This is the Griffin V2. And just another great job here updating to the button actuated liner lock. Again, M390 and titanium. And man, having a detent on this knife is such a game changer. I really loved the design and enjoyed the Griffin. But, you know, that spring lock just, it wasn't perfect for me. This is a game changer. This makes this a fantastic knife. I mean, it's a little big for my taste in general, but I can recommend the out of this knife. It's so good. Look at that inlay of shred carbon fiber, reversible clip, beautiful milling from Ketuo. I mean, just look at that. Absolutely stunning. Again, you have that mill clip, which is reversible. Just said that, so I won't repeat myself. You have that little flathead slotted pivot there. So this is just for decoration. It's not like a proprietary thing. You just loosen it from this side with a flathead. But look at that liner. Boom. Drop shut. And then you have that slot to flick it. You have a flipper tab to flipper it. And you have a front flipper to front flipper it. I mean, I don't know what else you could ask for on this. The reverse flick is money. Left-handed, right-handed. I mean, it's game-changing. It feels so much better in this lock than it did in the button lock. It's just, so good. All the deployments make sense now. You have a nice finger choil up here. You kind of come up into this area and get into it. Kind of reminiscent of, is it this one? Yeah. You just have a little bit more room on this one, which is cool. I guess all the ones I've showed you kind of have that. Kind of like sort of full choil, you know? This one's the biggest out of the bunch. Excellent. Really nice coating on here. I believe it's DLC coating. You get a little bit more of a shine with the DLC coating versus like PVD. Very thin grind. Very nice cutter. I used the button lock version quite a bit when I had that one in to review. And man, it's just fun to hit that flipper. It's fun to reverse flick this guy. Excellent. super comfortable as well in the hand. You have this nice spot right here to rest your pinky. And then again, you can choke up like this. No jimping, but oh, I guess there is some there. I've just never, I guess I did notice it here, huh? I usually choke up, but you have that little poon slot, poon spoon here. Look at that action. Little milling details, just gorgeous, right? Dead nuts. I expect nothing less from Ketuo. This is the Griffin V2, guys, and this is like 250 bucks. I really think what Ketuo is offering in terms of fit and finish and quality, like this stuff is up there with Riot, guys. It's really, really well done. And then you're getting premium materials and 250 bucks. I mean, it's really hard to beat. I think it's just a matter of if enough people know it exists, you know? So that's the Griffin V2. Excellent knife. I'm saving the best for last. This is the second to last. This is the Concept Ray, R-E-I. And this is a design by Karambit Maker. And I think this is a pretty cool knife. Now, design-wise, it's not really my style, but it kind of has like Hinderer vibes, right? It's what I said when I unboxed it. You have that bronze tie finish with an orange peel on it, which is pretty cool. I don't know if that comes through too well. Reversible pocket clip. Stonewash blade. It is a flat grind. Thumb studs and a flipper tab. And it's a frame lock. Internal relief cut is cool. And you have this sort of, you know, what would you call that? Like a file pattern on the clip. Now, the detent on this is not too strong. If I stay off the clip, stay off the lock bar, you'll see it's not too strong. But for the thumb flick, it's actually pretty snappy, right? Here's Lefty, so I'm not touching lock bar at all. Excellent for the thumb flick. Now, the thing with this knife I mentioned in the unboxing is the clip actually lands on the frame lock. So it's sort of a sin when it comes to design. But I got to give Karambit Maker a break here. I think this is more an issue with Concept because, and again, I love Concept as a company. I've used them for OEM work. They do good stuff. But somebody didn't, I guess, check the prototype enough because this hole, or whatever you call this, divot, actually ends up landing right where the clip would hit the frame. And if that divot weren't there, the clip would hit the frame and it would keep it up off the lock bar. But because that divot's there, it actually allows that clip to sink down low enough to be on the frame lock, which you don't want. So if I put pressure on that, right, it locks it up. So that's sort of a no-no. So if you're right-handed and you're grabbing that clip, you could lock it up. Now, what usually happens, because the detent is on the softer side, it actually gives you a nice, crisp, snappy detent instead of locking up. So it's kind of a win here on this example. I just can't say if you got one of these that yours might have a better detent, and then you're in trouble. Because if that detent's stronger stock, and then you put pressure on it, it's going to lock it up completely. So just kind of a hit or miss example by example thing. But the design is cool, and I think he designed it properly where it would land here. Whoever came up with the divots just didn't think about where it was going to end up and what the impact would be on that. And that's one of the biggest things with prototypes, but it's possible it just wasn't caught when they did that. Anyway, is it a deal breaker? I don't think so, because I'm guessing most of them are going to be on that softer side because you have studs. They're going to be careful with it. So for the most part, they're probably going to be like this, where they come out, see, locked it up, where they come out almost better because of the issue. So other than that, the design's cool, really comfortable in hand for a large glove size hand, and has a decent blade on it, thin grind, gonna cut really well. Not that I cut with it, but I can just tell. The blade steel on this is CPM 20 CV. You get titanium 20 CV. I'm guessing it's somewhere around, you know, 180 bucks, something like that. I will put a link to their website, to this knife, down below if you are interested in the Concept Ray, designed by Karambit Maker. Okay, last but absolutely not least, one of the coolest knives I've handled in a while. This is the Karbon Buckhorn, Ketuo OEM'd. And this is a Ken Onion design. Karbon is Ken Onion's production company. And I just think this knife is so cool because of the details on it, all right? So first off, the pivot has this sort of like bullet shape or, you know, round shape, which is really cool. It has these numbers that I don't understand, 87.8 to 2024, so that's the date or the year. Obviously, it's not August, so that can't be a month. So I don't know what that means. Maybe it's number 87 of batch 8, 2024. I don't know. Could mean a million things. Very thin lock bar. One thing I would like to see on this is better lock bar access, but it does work. It's not terrible. The centering is slightly off. Oh, wait. Maybe it's just loose now. It is loose now. So let's see what happens when I tighten it. I think when it was tight when I got it, it was off the other way. So let's just see. See what happens. Tighten it down, and yeah. I mean, it's an absolutely tiny bit. I mean, we're talking very small amount. This is actually a knife I wouldn't mind taking apart to just see the inside. You guys want to see the inside real quick? Let us do it. So, well, real quick, I'll just talk about it, and then the guys who don't want to watch that, you guys can get out of here because this is the last knife. It has this really nice flipper tab with the hole in it. I always find that pretty cool. Jimping on it. Excellent leverage on that flipper tab. Detent is solid. I mean, sucks it in. Not too strong, but not weak either. It has these interesting thumb studs slash... stops, I guess you would call them. Thumb stops. Blanking a little bit there, but you know what I'm getting at. They hit here, and that's your stop pin, basically. So they're your stops. Very cool in that sense. And I just like the overall aesthetic of it. I mean, look at all the milling on here. This knife is available on Ketuo's website, not Karbon's, because I went and looked. I don't think Karbon sells anything on their website. Maybe they go through dealers. I'm not sure how it works. But this knife is available on Ketuo's website, the Karbon Buckhorn. And if I'm not mistaken, it's like $250 or $275, which I feel like is really good for the amount of work that has to go into making one of these. Now, the steel is S35EN, so it's not like a super steel with M390. I actually prefer S35 over M390 at this point. But that could be part of why it's only that price. But really, really nice. You have a lock bar insert mounted from the inside. Really nice looking clip that curves down. I mean, look at that. Then you have this really cool, almost golf ball-ish milling pattern on the titanium that almost gives it like a twill carbon fiber look, but that is just from milling and polishing. Then you have these really nice mill lines here. You have those holes. The backspacer is really unique as well. There's a lanyard hole back here. And then inside, well, there's contouring as well. It's stupid thin. And then inside is interesting too, which is why I want to take it apart. Now, in my sort of unboxing, I said, maybe those are magnets. They're not. I talked to Ketuo, and they told me that those are actually screws. So I guess it is, we'll have to look when we take it apart, but my theory is you have screws back here on the backspacer, and then you don't have anything else all the way up, right? No other screws. So maybe those act as stabilizers for that backspacer. They somehow go into the scale. We're going to see. It's got to be interesting how they did it, but we shall see. angled studs, stops, whatever, with jimping on them. Very cool how they did that. The ergos are actually pretty comfortable on this knife. You do have a choil up here, just again, a smaller one, kind of a theme here, but it would work. This does not feel like a user to me. This feels like a sort of special knife that you would probably not use too much, but hey, what do I know? It's got this sort of sheep's footy blade on it. Unique-ish kind of looking blade. We've seen it before, actually. I think on a Ketuo. Wasn't the Telson blade kind of like this? Swedge here, and then it's got that sort of blasted, what do they call it? Sometimes a frosted finish on the blade. And the action is just, I mean, look at that. It almost feels like a Shiro in that sense of how it's just really buttery smooth and just kind of glides down. It doesn't just guillotine shut, right? Very cool. And you can see there's no lock bar access. Well, I guess there is actually. Cut back a little bit. But you got to kind of go in there with the point of your thumb. But very well done. So that's the Buckhorn, guys. Let's take a look at it on the inside. And I am going to pass this around, so I'm not going to like swap skiffs out or anything. Does this rotate? Yes, it does. So you could put that in any orientation. Not that that matters. This is a T6. Okay, so they also have T6s, which is not my favorite, but we shall continue. Let me grab a T6 with another driver. All the disassembly tools are linked in the description. This one is an Audacious Concepts driver. And this one is a Get Good screwdriver, if anybody's interested. Let's see, is this clip might be mounting. So let's just get that guy out too. Should be obvious that it's a different screw, but set those aside. So we should be able to get it apart, depending on what that backspacer is doing. I'm wondering if it's gonna come apart. Right? I don't know how those screws are working. So let me first try just a plastic pry. We're not gonna try to hurt anything, just, excuse me, just see if it kind of wants to come apart. It does not. Well, that does, but that makes sense because the pivot is obviously loose. But I'm not seeing separation here, which is what I was kind of getting at. It's interesting. Do you need some kind of tool to take this apart? I mean, that wouldn't make sense to me, but let me see. I can punch this out, and then we can pull the blade out just so we can get a look at that. Interesting bearings, okay. Now we just have a frame here. Do these come out? Look at that. That collar kind of sits into the frame lock area. It might even be the over travel. Let's see. Nope, it clears it. So it's not the over travel. That's interesting. Maybe there's another over travel inside. Let's see if I can get this one out. There we go. Got that one out. Those are cool. So let's take these screws out. Maybe that'll help us on our quest here. I can't think of a tool that would let you get in there. Whoa. I can't think of a tool that would let you get in there to unscrew those little backspacer screws. So there's got to be something else going on here. There's got to be a way to peel it apart. I just don't. Ah, I knew it. Okay, so this, look at that. See that? It's notched in there. So, yeah, they're just screws. Interesting. Now, how do I get it apart from here is the question. How would you unscrew that? will this come out is another question. What is keeping the backspacer in? Just spacing? I'm just trying to yank it. It's not coming out. Interesting. Look at that. What the hell? Dude, this does not want to come apart. It is tight, and it's got to be those screws. My question is, how the hell do you tighten those? Like, how would you'd have to take one side off, right? You'd have to take one side off and then screw in that one, take the other side off, screw in that one, then put it back together. There's no way you could do it from like this. You wouldn't be able to tighten those. So what I'm thinking is I need to just pry it apart. I think it's just these pins are extremely tight is what I'm thinking. I'm going to try again. Yep. So we got that one off. See? Now it's coming. All right, cool. So those pins are just extremely tight. And then that backspacer comes out. There's another pin that was holding that, which is why I could not get that off. This one is the culprit. Just gotta wiggle them apart, basically. All right, got it. Damn, that pin is tight. So these screws are getting notched into there, and that's how they're helping with the structure there. I find it weird though, because this pin exists, right? That pin is there, so why do you need this one too? Like, they almost created a pin for no reason. But you'll see this notches in, and that's how it allows that screw to be structural on both sides. Makes sense. But again, you have this pin right here. So what is the need for that? It's almost like they just did it to prove they could do it. Because I don't see why you need that if you have this pin, then that pin, right? Hopefully you get what I'm saying. But it does kind of lock, it kind of slides onto that screw and like kicks into place. That's interesting. So here's the lock bar. Relief cut is on the outside, actually, sorry. And then there's your steel insert. It's screwed in from here, and that's why you just have that showing on that side. Washers and whatnot. Pretty standard construction, I would say. Your bearings are interesting. They're like mini multi-row bearings. Look. They're multi-row technically, I think, because you have these couple that are like offset. I guess they're not, but they're kind of multi-row-ish. They're multi-row-ish. I think they're 3/64. Yeah. So they're 3/64 ball. And the pivot is 5 millimeter, I'm guessing. Let's try 4. Not 4, not 3, 5, yeah. So 5 mil, 3/64. I've, of course, put those in plenty of things, but these are pretty good. Usually, the 5 millimeter 3/64 bearings that I swap, they have 9 balls in them. And then I put in skiffs that have 15. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12. This one has 12. So you'd only be adding an extra 6 balls total if you put skiffs in. So yeah, I mean, they did a great job on this knife. I'm really impressed with it. I like this knife a lot. So let's just see. I don't think it matters which one you put in. Oops. I do think it'd be cool if this was the over travel, because they don't have one. Maybe it is. It is. Okay, it is the over travel. I thought I could see here, you see that cut out there where it goes past, but I think they have that there because you need to go that far to release the blade, I guess. but then this back side doesn't have a notch cut in it. See this area right here? See how that's cut out, but that isn't? So that part actually hits the pivot collar. See how it pushed it out? So that is your stop. This pivot collar is your over travel, sorry. That's really cool. Okay, let us see how they did. Oh, I think I might have just figured out why it wasn't centered. So this is loose. Very best techie thing to have happen. Interesting. All right, so let's tighten that. See if it's, and I'll glue it if it makes it centered. But might be a little bit of a pain to get back together, but let's just give it a shot here. Put that on. Man, I really like this construction. Just a cool knife, man. All right, pop that on. Everything should be good. Backspacer's in there, right? Oh, I need to, because of the screw on this side, you need to actually, yeah, you need to lift that up. Get this together and then notch it down, I think. I might need to even tighten it a little bit. I'll show you, hold on. T8. So just need to bring the scales together a little bit. Do that apparently. So now this can pop into place properly. Hope that makes sense. Close this just carefully because it's rubbing. All right, so I think I reversed the pivot, right? I think I reversed the pivot. So let me fix that. I took it apart from the clip side, which would be that side, yeah. So I did reverse it, hold on. Should be able to just flip it over. Pop it out. Pop it in. Like that. I don't think it's captive, actually. There's no D shape, right? Am I right? There's no D shape? So it is not centered. So I'm not sure if that fixed the issue, but all right, let me just see. See how it's over to that side? I don't think tightening everything, it's just gonna get to there. So let's try something. Sorry, I'm nerding out right now, but that's what happens. So pop this out, push this out. So let's see. Yeah, I don't think it's captive, guys. So let me just set this down, loosen this. Let's see what happens when we loosen this a little bit. Just loosen it like that and see if the centering changes. I have to line this blade up again. There it goes. All right. So that could make it worse, could make it better. Could be the same. Interesting. So I think what's happening is, no matter what, it's tightening that screw down. Watch. When we push this pivot out, it's going to be tight on the barrel again, I bet. Yeah. Pretty much tight on the barrel because it's just, so maybe if we remove it, let's just do this. I'm just testing shit now, but I'm just having theories here, so give me a second. All right, pivot. See how the pivot went too far through? It's because unscrew that. Let's see if I can get this off. Get the pivot cap out of here. There we go. All right. Put the pivot screw in. Then we'll see. Man, the tooling is not too deep, so it's not holding well on the bits. Just makes it a little harder. All right. All right, so that's tight. Now we put this in and we can see what happens. We're gonna have to do it by hand, obviously, but that's fine. See if this does anything. So as I tighten this, obviously the knife is gonna get tighter. I'll do it with my thumb. I'm twisting a bunch of shit, but let's just see if it starts coming over. There it goes. A little more. So if I hold this, see, almost perfectly centered at that point. Let's see if there's play. No play. There we go. Yeah, pretty much perfect. I mean, look at that. I could probably back off a touch. Let's see. Yeah, no play. Boom. But obviously, if you fully tighten it like you should, like that, this is what you get. Oh shit, maybe I fixed it. I think it's just off a touch, and I think that's just how it was. So anyway, let's get it to drop, and then I'll shut up. All right, there we go. All right, put the clip on. Anyway, you kind of get the idea there of what I was trying to do, and I think it worked. But you know, usually you just end up wanting to tighten the pivot. That's what I like to do. I don't want to have a loose pivot, but see if I can get this guy to. Yeah, what's going on here? No. Why don't you come out? Yeah. It's just an odd angle for this clip because it's such a weird shape. So get it in like this. No. Right? Is that how it goes in? There we go. Got it. Yeah, I kind of wish they would have done T8s on this stuff, but what the heck? All right, let's just try something. I'm thinking that I need the other screw in there. It's just a spinning barrel, and that's the problem. So these all look the same to me. So I don't think it matters which one I grab. See how I can't tighten anything? I don't know if I need to do it at the same time. Don't know why it's not. Oh. The barrel is out of line. Let's just see. It's the backspacer, duh. There, I just had to push the backspacer down a little bit. Okay. There we go. Whoops. All right, that one went in. This one's gonna go in. these two. Whoa, what is going on there? Wondering if okay. I was wondering if maybe I'll try it. Hold on. This screw is actually for up here. And this screw goes down here. I think it's just maybe a touch shorter or something. And this one goes up top. There we go. All right. Okay. Back together. Fires out. No play. Swings. Oh my God. Look at that, dude. Yeah, they did a great job with this knife and design. It's just off by a little bit. It is what it is. So we got to check out the construction, which I think is really cool how they did that. I think they just did it to show they could, which is awesome to see. And the action on this Buckhorn is ridiculous. It really does feel like a Shiro, which is cool. So there you go, guys. That's 7 rapid reviews in an hour. Really rapid. But it was really 7 rapid reviews and then a disassembly. So you got to give me a little bit of a break there, maybe, if you want to. But those are the knives, and then there's the fixed blade. So let me know what you guys think. Which one of these would you pick up? I will link everything I can down below. You know that. All these knives will be linked in one way, shape, or form. Personally, I think the standouts for me are the Ace Nazca in CF, the Griffin V2 in the new button-actuated liner lock form. And then the Buckhorn, to me, is the coolest one because it's just so unique and different and yet so good, you know? So if you kind of collect or like to have unique knives that are really, really good, I think this is definitely one of those that should be in your collection there, you know? So let me know what you guys think. I love you. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I'll catch you later. Peace.